And we're live.
It's kind of politics, but you guys been following the $15 minimum wage thing?
Yeah, a little bit. I saw that there's been some discussion. I think the Republicans even had a bit of a compromise with maybe saying 10.
Yeah. Well, if I have it right, I think his name's Tom Cotton, and he's from Oklahoma. Offered to raise it to 10. It's currently like 7.25, and his state's minimum is already 11. So it didn't seem like he was really meeting him halfway there. But yeah, there's that. I don't know how
it's 11 in Oklahoma.
That's
interesting. That's like, I'm pretty sure that's like one of the cheapest states to live, like cost of living wise, like very, very cheap in Oklahoma.
You wouldn't think it would be too expensive.
I must have the state wrong because it's 725 there. Is it Arkansas? Where is it from?
I'm from Arkansas.
I'm gonna guess he's from.
That's a reference. No one gets but me.
He is from Arkansas, is what I'm guessing. Not guessing. I looked it up. He's from Arkansas.
It is Arkansas, and he's offering 10, but it's already 11.
What a forgettable state.
Yeah, I don't know. So like,
so much mouths.
Do you know what the capital of Arkansas is?
Little Rock.
Look at you.
Frankfurt. Right. No, that's Kentucky. It is Little Rock.
Frankfurt is in Kentucky.
Yeah, Frankfurt's capital of Kentucky. Little Rock's capital of Arkansas.
Yeah.
It's the capital of Connecticut.
Is that Montpelier?
No, that's Vermont.
Yeah, I was.
Oh shit! I know Connecticut. Hartford.
Oh yeah,
let's do all the states. What is?
Oh god, stop.
Let's do what's Seattle? What's Washington? It's not Seattle. It's something else.
Some of these are hard.
I haven't done this since elementary school.
Is it Helena, Montana? No, that's Helena, Montana. Oh man, we suck.
I haven't done this since I was like
Washington
9.
Washington. I'm gonna say. You know, it's not Seattle, but it could be one of those states where it's the one you don't think it is. So I'm going to say Seattle.
I'm going to do what I did in high school, which is to say Washington City. If you don't know it, sometimes that gets it right.
I don't think in any situation that gets it right.
You're probably
Capital
right about
of Washington.
It's like that. It's like that Reddit post where they tell the kid to put these 5 words in alphabetical order, and he just takes the letters in each word and puts those in alphabetical order. So like one of the words is there, so he just takes THERE and puts those letters in order.
Can you guys do New Jersey? I have an unfair advantage there, but it's a hard one.
New Jersey is it Trenton?
It is. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
If it were multiple choice, I would be like 90% on this, but like pulling some of them out of my ass, I'm just gonna suffer at this.
Yeah, Missouri. I would guess St. Louis. Is it right?
That's Jefferson City.
I know North Dakota.
Yes, North Dakota is Bismarck, right?
Yep.
Or is that South Dakota?
I think it's Bismarck, North Dakota.
All right, this was ironic. I didn't mean to get us on the capital.
This is the worst bit ever, but I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Especially for anyone like the people from the U.S. are like, yeah, it is kind of hard, huh? But the people from like fucking Europe are like, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's funny, you think anyone from the US is going to join our side. They'd be like, these fucking 3 adult idiots don't know any of the capitals.
They're not wrong. Can we go back to
filled that space of my brain with actors' names. All right, that's gone.
For a bit, there was a piece of me that felt like I was somehow virtuous by wanting a $15 minimum wage on some level. I also understand, you guys have all heard me say you compete with automation and overseas labor. You can't just make the minimum wage whatever you want. But it was like, you know what? Enough is enough. Everybody should be rich. And then I started to look at myself through another lens, and it's like, I'm not offering to pay more. I'm just saying he should pay him more. Aren't I pretty special for thinking that? Aren't I quite the gentleman and full of kindness for thinking that guy should pay that guy more? And it's like, that's not really that impressive at all. I looked up the minimum wage from when I earned it to now, and it's actually inflation right. I keep hearing this argument that like if minimum wage kept up with inflation, that it'd be like $25 an hour now or something wild like that.
I think it's if it kept up with cost of living. It's what they usually use.
Okay. Maybe because I couldn't explain the
which
delta.
Isn't fair.
Maybe that does. So I used
to the people who have to live on minimum wage.
I used an inflation calculator, and I pumped in 1986. I was 13 years old. I couldn't make the minimum. I got paid less than the minimum wage. It was $3 an hour, but I was working illegally, so they could pay me anything they wanted. And $3 an hour. I worked it forward, and it was like $7.25 or something. The next year, I earned the actual minimum wage, which was $3.35. Put it in the inflation calculator, and it was like $7.65. I'll do it again right now. Inflation calculator.
Yeah, it was like $6.25, I think. Or no, it was like $5.50 when I was 16, I think.
Ooh, we'll do that next. So in
15, when I was 15.
1987, I just happened to know the minimum wage was $3.35. So this year that would make it $7.71. And is the minimum wage $7.25, $7.65? Do you guys know?
I have no idea. I think it's in the low sevens.
It is $7.25. So it's $7.25, and when I earned the minimum wage, it was the equivalent of $7.71, which is more, right? I'm not knocking that, but they led me to believe it was like $25 or something, really out of line with $7.25. I think if they tried to make it 10, they'd get general agreement, but they're not. They're asking for 15. And I want everyone to make that. I want everyone to make 30 or 100. I don't know.
It should probably be different. Like, it seems like doing that federally is kind of odd too, because it's like very, very different in Manhattan than Oklahoma City. Like it seems a little odd to have the same rule everywhere. I'd be interested to see. I haven't followed this at all, and I don't know enough about economics to know anything about this, but I'd be interested to see or hear like what is the like if let's say they put $15 nationally, that's the new thing. How would that impact companies like Walmart, Target, Amazon versus companies like the remaining, 48% of small businesses that, are still here from a year and
yeah. I'm curious about what
who's it going to help?
Isn't McDonald's one of the biggest employers? Like I know Walmart is like number one in like the South specifically, maybe in the whole U.S.
Walmart's number one in the whole U.S. I think, and McDonald's is up there too.
McDonald's is pretty high up there, but like, if I'm a McDonald's like corporate guy and they tell me like, okay, now your cost of labor is double what it is now, then I'm getting on that fucking machine that makes burgers and fries right away, right?
And works self-checkout, right? Would be probably a popular
fucking
thing.
Self-checkout. You only if you can run your McDonald's with like 2 people now instead of like 6, and you've got like $750,000 worth of machinery that'll pay itself off in 10 years. Like, yeah, do that. Do the self-checkout shit. You have one person like watching the front, one person watching the back, maybe 2. You're good, right?
So that ties into something I've been saying, which is everyone competes with automation and overseas labor, right? So McDonald's, like that checkout drive person could potentially be anywhere, right? Like they could, if it's a sophisticated IT system, that guy could be in India, or they could just be one guy. Maybe the way
you don't use cash.
Maybe I've got an American dude who just works rush hours all day long. So I hit the Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific time zones, and I fill in on that extra throughput you need to handle the lunch hour, and like that. I don't know how it works exactly, but they'd get more efficient. They wouldn't just have 8 people for a big shift. And I want everyone to make more. It just seems nice. Although I'm really just giving somebody's money to somebody else.
Yeah, I just don't have an opinion anymore. I don't give a fuck. I don't know what the right answer is. So I feel like an uneducated opinion is worthless, and that's kind of what I have. I just don't know.
We've got 4 hours to fill. So you can't fucking believe that.
Yeah, a lot of times people point to a specific cost, right? They say, "Oh, the cost of college has done this," right? It's grown far faster than inflation has, and they use that as an argument that minimum wage needs to be higher. And on one level, I get it. That's a thing that minimum wage employees might be paying for, college. On another level, it's like, well, you kind of cherry picked that one, didn't you? You didn't choose bread or milk or something more generic. Anyway, maybe just me that finds that. I've been following the minimum wage thing a bunch because it's hot in the news right now.
So what was your what was average? What was your first average rent, or Woody, like when you lived on your own?
So this one's not going to support. It was $390, but it was a particular like. I stayed in a low-income housing unit. That was the one where the guy underneath me beat his wife and sold drugs. And
Jesus. Well, what was the first average one?
Right?
I'm looking for averages.
Yeah. Like I lived in pretty much a ghetto on my first place. So I think a lot of people might hear $390 and think it's insanely cheap. But you'd probably get a place like that now in Jersey for like $790 or $690, and it would still suck. I want to say I paid.
Oh, Jesus Christ! It says rent priced $390 in 1983 is the equivalent of that's 1983. It would be later for you when you did this. Yeah, but it'd be equivalent of $1,343 now in 2021. But
can you change the date? Or
yeah, I can change the date.
Make it 93. I think I lived on my own then.
93. $390 in 1993 is $894.35 now.
Okay.
Okay, I just found the apartment complex that was my first apartment.
Really?
I'm gonna see what it costs now. Because when
I went torn down,
mine was like $550, $600 a month. And let's see what it is now. Cobblestone Landing apartments.
Dude, that's when I learned the importance of paying more for rent. So my apartment, this is the actual apartment I stayed in. The person before me left their animal behind, and that animal destroyed it, right? They had to replace the drywall, not paint it, replace it because it was urine soaked and disgusting. They had to replace the carpets because it was urine soaked, and an animal died and rotted on the carpets, right? So they couldn't just like vacuum it and send it to the next guy. So when I went to like tour that apartment, I was like, this place is new. It was like fresh construction. It was lovely. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm getting this place for $390. And then I realized that what you pay for is not just the apartment. You're paying to keep poor neighbors away. And I didn't pay for that, so I didn't get it.
Maybe this was it.
What do you say? You're looking for your place?
Looking for original
maps link?
This is it. This is it. Man, I have not seen this in a couple decades.
Yeah, I want to look up my old college apartment, see if there's pictures on the inside.
So yeah, it was $600 when I stayed there, and now let's see.
And what year was that?
2005. Looks like now it's like 848. So it's gone up by 200 since
16 years ago.
16 years. It's not bad. I mean, 30%.
Yeah. I just don't know enough about the surrounding math of any of this, but I agree with you, Woody, in that like viscerally, I'm like, yeah, it does seem like about time the minimum wage went up. But then when people were like, but have you considered this? And it's like, no, I haven't.
It's weird that they're bundling it into the COVID bill because a lot of jobs that pay minimum wage are especially hard hit right now. You know, imagine the sales at a boardwalk store today or a restaurant or I don't know, all sorts of little retail. Like I bet Taylor's tied into this, just how smashed retail is during the pandemic. And now you want to raise their labor costs because I'm feeling generous, you know, like
I don't know how it would impact retail, but I assume like companies like Walmart are going to be able to handle that a lot easier than some restaurant who's already trying to get by on savings and they're having to, we only have 30% capacity. And it's like, well, now we have no margin, even when we're open, we're losing money staying open. Sure. We have to stay open and so I would imagine that might be enough to crush those businesses.
That lady at the gym front desk who ignores you when you check in, that's a minimum wage job. Probably, you know, and they're not killing it right now. Gyms, restaurants, all sorts of places that have cheap labor.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's sad how many small businesses are just gone, not coming back, especially restaurants and shit.